So good, so good, so good.
Give big, save big with Rack Friday deals at Nordstrom Rack. For a limited time, take an extra 40% off red tag clearance for a total savings up to 75% off. Save on gifts for everyone on your list from brands like Vince, Cole Haan, Sam Edelman, and more. All sales final and restrictions apply. The best stuff goes fast, so bring your gift list and your wish list to your nearest Nordstrom Rack today.
At Sierra, discover joyous deals on great gifts for everyone on your list. Like cozy slippers, ski gear, fishing poles, bikes, large kayaks, even larger canoes. Whew, which might lead to another discovery. Wrapping gifts is the only sport you need to stay fit this season. 'Tis the season to discover great gifts at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
Smart, sharp, and slightly unhinged. Late night's fresh perspective. The Last Show with David Cooper.
You know how the old saying goes, a wolf, a crab trap, and a surprise. Okay, maybe that's not an old saying, but what looked like a wolf doing some random damage to a crab trap was all caught on camera, and it turned out to be a very smart animal pulling off a clever plan, stealing food. And it shows how inventive wolves can be. They can use tools. I'm here with Kyle Artelle, an assistant professor in environmental biology at SUNY ESF in Syracuse, New York, who has studied just this and reviewed the footage. And Kyle, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So looking at this video, what was the moment when you first realized something unusual was going on? A wolf stealing from crab traps? Like what happened?
Yeah, I mean, almost immediately, the realization something important was going on kicked in. So, I mean, the video starts where she's swimming to shore with a float in her mouth and then proceeds to bring the float up the beach, place it down in a good orientation so she can then grab the line attached to it, and she can then start pulling the line. Then you see a crab trap emerge out of the water, and then she proceeds to take the bait cup from within that trap. And so the jaw dropped immediately on seeing that. The context is we were trying to find out who was damaging these crab traps. This was part of a Haystroke-led European green crab program where the nation, in collaboration with some universities, but the nation is very much leading this, is trying to understand an invasion of European green crabs here, trying to monitor it and try to address it. And all of these involve trapping of the green crabs. And there was these traps on the beach. They're green crab traps that were being damaged repeatedly, and we were trying to figure out, well, who's doing this? Some of the traps were pretty high in the intertidal, so in a low tide, a bear or wolf could have easily walked up. Not that interesting necessarily, but some of the traps were in deep water, deep enough that it's never exposed on a low tide. So we were curious, what's going on here? Who is this? Maybe it's seals, maybe it's otters, maybe it's mink. So we put this camera up, or a couple cameras pointed at green crab traps, just to try to get any kind of inclination, any kind of insight into what might be happening. But when we opened up that camera, it's one of the first videos. We got our answer, and we got just that full sequence of the wolf pulling the trap out of the water, and it was not what we were expecting to see, to put it lightly.
And what constitutes tool use in animals, or in this case with the wolf? Like, why is this behavior so unusual, or something that we didn't think wolves did?
That's a great question. And of course, as scientists, we can get into semantics. And so there's a bunch of definitions of what tool use constitutes. One of the definitions is just using an external object to satisfy a goal, basically, which is clearly what's happening here. And kind of resonates with us in terms of a tool use. There's other definitions that are a little bit more restrictive that say, for example, maybe the animal has to create the tool. They can't just use a pre-existing tool, etc. But regardless of definition, I mean, clearly what was going on here was really sophisticated behavior. The wolf sort of had to, again, she started by swimming with this buoy in her mouth. She had to orient that buoy. She had to bring it to shore first in order to pull on the trap to get the trap out of the water. The trap was not visible at the beginning of all this. She had to associate that floating buoy with a line, with a crab trap, with bait within. There's sort of this multiple steps required in seemingly in comprehension, and certainly in terms of what she was doing to get that bait. So really significant in just that this video captured such sophisticated behavior. those who are familiar with wolves, that know wolves well, would not be surprised that wolves are intelligent. That's not news. um, and maybe even that they would be capable of this kind of behavior is maybe not all that surprising. Um, but to just see the behavior, it's this whole new facet of behavior that hasn't been seen before in wolves. And in some ways, it really just opens up some questions as to what else is going on out there. What else can they do? What else could they teach us if we were to listen, to watch? What else are they capable of?
Well, to that end, we got the swimming, we got the figuring out how a buoy works, we got the lifting, we got the tearing. None of it random, all of it sophisticated, definitely smarter than anything I could do. What does this tell us about like wolf cognition? What new things have we learned about the way wolves' brains work?
Well, again, so we've known that wolves are flexible behaviorally. We know that they're super intelligent. So it's not like there's this qualitative new insight that yesterday we thought wolves weren't all that intelligent and today we think that they are. But here is just this new expression of that sort of cognitive sophistication. So if we think about it, this crab trap, sorry, is very new in the environment. It's very novel. This isn't something that wolves have evolved with for thousands of years. It's something that just showed up, and these traps have been used for the past decade-ish in the area, maybe a bit more. Used in a big way just for the past few years, where they've been used in large numbers consistently, and the wolves very quickly figured them out. This behavior was learned incredibly quickly. So I think in a lot of ways, it's just, yeah, this additional dimension into what they can do. An analogy might be that we know that humans are intelligent and we're flexible, but when we create a new invention or when we create a new piece of art that we haven't seen before or a new way of doing things, it reveals more about humanity. It reveals more about what we're capable of. It isn't that, oh, we suddenly realize humans are intelligent. We've at least told ourselves that for a very long time. But when we are able to do new things, it's still really notable. And so there's a parallel there. And I think, the other piece, I keep saying people who know wolves recognize all this. What we were really excited about right when we first saw this video is that the video speaks for itself, is that you don't need to know wolves well, actually, to look at this video and get a pretty good sense of what's going on, to recognize that, like you said, she's very focused. Each of these behaviors seems very laser focused, and she is solving the problem the way that a human would. She's using the tool the way that a human would. So I think in some ways, maybe for those who don't know wolves all that well, we don't need to tell them wolves are smart. You can just show the video, and the video kind of speaks for itself.
Could it be a one-off genius wolf, or you really think this whole group is smarter than we thought, or at least using tools in ways that are more novel than we thought?
That's a great question. And I mean, all we can do at this stage is speculate. But there is another video where we see another wolf interacting with a trap. Unfortunately, these are camera traps. They're motion detected, and most of the action happens out of the frame. So we see the wolf pulling on a line. Then the video cuts, and 8 minutes later, there's 2 traps in front of the video now. We don't know if that particular wolf pulled a trap from deep water, or if it was in shallow water, or if it was even just elsewhere on the beach. We don't know what's going on there. But at least one other wolf is interacting with the traps and starting to pull on the line. So very much some of the behavior we see in that video. But we don't know. We don't know if it is only this particular wolf that has figured out how to do it, or if she actually learned it from her pack mates, or if she taught it to her pack mates. We really don't know.
Does observing this kind of behavior change how we should think about conservation? Like for a species that's experimenting and adapting and problem solving in ways we rarely get to witness?
So, I mean, I think the answer from sort of an ethical perspective is probably it shouldn't, because, other organisms, whether it's other people, whether it's other species, we should not decide if they should be treated properly based on how intelligent they are. That's pretty problematic.
Or how cute they are. I think that's another trap as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that is what we tend to do, right? And so, maybe I don't think it would be a bad thing if wolves now get more care and consideration based on this. If this just enters our imagination a little bit more, the way that chimps started to be treated very differently when Dr. Goodall made it very well known that they could use tools, right? That wasn't a bad thing that suddenly chimps got more of our attention and care. So, certainly, hopefully that happens, that folks think more and more deeply and are more curious and humble about wolves and other species. But with the caveat that doesn't suggest that animals that we currently think are not as intelligent should get less care.
Well, I'm here with Kyle Artelle, an assistant professor of environmental biology at SUNY ESF in Syracuse, New York. Kyle, where can people find out more about this project?
Yeah, so we have the Hechthoek Wolf and Biodiversity Project, which is kind of the broader project looking at wolves in Hechthoek territory. We have a website, placeofwolves.ca, where you can learn about the study and you can learn about the other work that we're doing.
Kyle, I appreciate you coming on the show and sharing info about this kind of amazing video. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Rinse takes your laundry and hand delivers it to your door, expertly cleaned and folded. So you could take the time once spent folding and sorting and waiting to finally pursue a whole new version of you. Like Tea Time You. Or this Tea Time You. Or even this Tea Time You.
So did you hear about Dave?
Or even Tea Time You.
So update on Dave.
It's up to you. We'll take the laundry. Rinse. It's time to be great.